Good morning. Again, day 5. We're pre-recording. We're still wearing the same clothes. That's all right. We're doing day 5.
It's day 5.
I'm excited because today's interview is with Kristen from KraeO Yarn, and she's a ton of fun.
I'm looking forward to watching that one. I wasn't able to go to that one.
She's a ton of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's KraeO and the Fuzz family. The Fuzz family.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm excited to open her mini skein. And I haven't, in the last 20 minutes since we last recorded, I've gotten another row done. So
good.
And I ate breakfast. So
good. You're getting closer. Awesome.
Yeah. So people are going to have to wait until day 6 to actually see if I got caught up or not.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
So yesterday, as of when we're filming this, I went to another felting class.
Oh.
A needle felting class. This is my second one I've done. And there's a lady offering them through the library in town. Neat. So the first one was at 6:00.
Uh-huh.
And then this one, they originally were going to do for kids. And so they did it at 3:30, but then no one signed up, I guess. So then they opened it up to everybody to come, but it was still at 3:30.
So you did.
So I got there at 3:20 and there was one other lady there and the teacher was not there.
Oh, okay.
And then at 3:30, a lady showed up with her son. And I guess she and he take the class from her every month.
Okay.
And so they were like, this is weird. She has memory issues. We should have them call and make sure she remembered. And so they called her and I guess she thought it was at 6:00 instead of 3:30. And she lived a half hour away. So we just chilled. We just hung out, got to know each other,
Nice.
It's like now I'm like part of the felting group now, it's the thing I do.
Needle felting is satisfying because you get to stab stuff. I mean, we've talked about women and their crime podcasts and all this kind of stuff and violent shows.
Get your stabbing urges out, ladies, on felt. So this is what we made.
Oh, it's cute.
I have to say, so I don't like it. How it is. I liked it before I did the ornaments on it, but you had to do some ornaments to hold the string of bells in place. So I was like, okay, I'll do a few ornaments, right? And she came around, she gave us the colored ones, the colored things, and she showed us how to do the balls, which was you just lay you get a thin strip of the roving and lay it down. And then you just stab it in the middle.
Yeah.
And you just keep stabbing in the same place.
Yeah.
And the felt comes up and folds in and it forms a circle. And I was obsessed. So I went from not wanting any to I used every scrap of wool that she gave me. And I now have all of these ornaments on my tree.
Fun.
So this is my tree.
That's fun. So here's my question, though. Hold that up again, please.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
you did your first cone for the actual tree shape.
Yes.
Is there something inside there, or is all of it solid wool?
All wool. So it was a wooden dowel that she put a pipe cleaner. She twisted a pipe cleaner around it, and then from here up, it's just pipe cleaner.
Okay.
Because with hers, they're sort of bent over. They look more Susie, more Dr. Susie.
Right.
And so we wrapped it with natural white first, and then we did green over, and then the brown is covering the stick to make a stem. Right. And then we stabbed it a lot.
Stabbing.
So all you true crime lovers, you should take up needle felting.
Right. So my daughter has gotten into needle felting a little bit. And so she did these little pumpkins.
Oh, they're so cute.
Yeah.
Those are very cute.
Yeah. I have a couple of, here's another one that was a different. Yeah.
Nice.
So cat. You could definitely have cat toys, needle felted cat toys. Super fun. Yeah.
I had a few kits that I got through fiber festivals I put on.
Yeah, they're fun.
Vendors would give me some, and I think I gifted them to my daughter, and I might have to steal them back.
Might take them back.
Might take them back, kiddo. You haven't used them. I need to stab things.
Statute of limitations.
I'm not seeing them on my shelf over there. I think that's what happened is I gave them to my youngest because she's been needle felting since
Well, when she goes away to college, just go, grab it back.
Yeah.
No,
I'll
I'm not.
clean
Okay,
her
I'm not.
room for her and just
Right.
reclaim all the fiber
Okay,
craft
let's
stuff.
be clear. I'm not endorsing like theft from your children. You could
No, I'm
ask
openly
her.
advocating for it.
You could also ask her, hey, do you mind if I have this back?
Yeah, I could do that. We'll start with that. That'll be the first line of offense.
It'd
To
be your
ask
first tactic.
nicely. We'll
Okay.
see if asking nicely helps.
Bribery is good.
Well, that'll be the second. That'll be if the asking nicely doesn't work, maybe I'll offer to get pizza tonight or something.
Well, okay, yeah. I'm just gonna say bribery always works because like this morning, it's the weekend when we're pre-recording this, and my kid has some schoolwork that's overdue. And I'm like, okay, you cannot be sleeping until like 11.
Mm-hmm.
So if I make you XYZ for breakfast, like French toast is a favorite.
Yeah.
Breakfast will be ready at 8:30. You need to be downstairs. And she's
That's why
always,
you got to have delicious breakfast today.
yeah,
Tell people what you made because I'm jealous.
it was easy. We made today's bribery was clafouti, which I can link the recipe down below, and I'm
You should.
maybe or maybe not pronouncing it correctly. It's
I think
basically a
so.
French egg pie.
Yeah, it looks delicious.
Yeah. So it's just flour, lots of milk and or heavy cream, but I don't ever have heavy cream. I just dump in the milk.
Yeah.
Eggs, half a cup of sugar, some vanilla, do all that in the mixer, the KitchenAid, and then pour it in a, greased and floured pie plate. Pour it in there. Sprinkle some berries on there. Like I've made it with blackberries, blueberries, strawberries, dried cranberries once. That was pretty good.
Ooh, I bet that was good.
Yeah, and then you bake it at 350 for the recipe only says like 35, 40 minutes, but we live at high altitude. You always have to have a little more flour and bake things a little longer. So really it takes more like 50 minutes because we're at 5,300 feet.
Yeah.
So a little more flour, a little longer. Yeah.
Interesting.
So we have that. And usually my daughter and I eat, I don't know how many people it serves, but it really doesn't matter because she and I are the ones that like it. And so I eat a quarter, she eats a quarter, and then tomorrow we eat the rest.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
She's
I
not.
don't know if it would last that long if it was in my house. I'd be like, oh, I need like a quarter of my other quarter for a snack, and then like a quarter of the other quarter for dessert after dinner.
It is good cold as well.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. So I don't know. My husband's not a big fan of it, but that's just because he is one of these people, he has to eat right when he gets up. So he makes the coffee and he does the same thing every day. He does eggs basted, cover in the cast iron skillet, cover in the pan, whatever. And then he like does all his hot sauce nonsense and he squirts all. I don't
My favorite breakfast that I can eat every day, and I have eaten it for the last 4 days, I was realizing this morning, is 2 scrambled eggs and 2 bacons. So that's 4 things. I don't know why I'm counting them together. And then I take a bag of the riced cauliflower and cook it in the microwave. That takes 6 minutes. So that happens while I'm making the eggs and bacon. And then I put a normal kitchen towel and then like a tea towel with that smoother fabric. And when that comes out of the microwave, I dump that on. I fold it up in the tea towel and then I fold it up in the regular towel and I smush it. And that gets all the water out or some of the water out. And then all of that food goes together in a bowl and I put a bunch of hot sauce on it so that the cauliflower rice is like a sort of mid-pink color. And then I eat it and it's delicious. And it's very common breakfast in the Philippines only with real rice. Cool. But I hate joy, so I am low carb and trying to be strict again. So I do it with my cauliflower rice, but squeezing out that water gets a lot of the cauliflowery flavor out of the cauliflower rice. So then you just get the mouthfeel of the rice. It's good. I love it. I love it.
Okay, how some people have an issue with the way words sound. Like I am very noise sensitive. It's a thing. It's called misophonia.
Which word triggered you there?
Mouth feel.
Mouthfeel. How is that not what? That's ironic.
I don't know. Like I hate the word moisture.
I don't have a problem. I know a lot of people are upset by moist. It's a weird word, but it doesn't like trigger anything for me. It's just a
Okay,
word.
but like certain sounds just incite rage. Like, you know, the fingernail chalkboard thing, like a lot of people have an issue with that.
Other people chewing their food drives me nuts.
Oh. I think we've talked about this before. Yeah, smacking, chewing with your mouth open, can't do it. Honestly, I have been known to eat with earplugs. But then I can hear myself. But then I can hear myself too.
Yeah.
Good. I've been known to just go in the other room.
Yeah.
One reason why forced family fun dinners, not fun for me.
Everybody just eat on your own. We'll have fun after.
Yeah. Okay. When you're done chewing, come back to the board game.
You're done chewing.
Mexican restaurants are not fun. All those chips and all those people.
Yeah.
And all the crunching of the free chips on the table.
That is a lot of crunching.
It's not good.
I can see how that would be a problem. Yeah. That's why they have the bands that play in the Mexican restaurants. And so you don't have to listen to other people chew.
That could be.
Tortilla.
Maybe I should just turn up music during dinner. Maybe that's why like the English rich people have long, or not just English people, have really long tables, and like the couples, like one sits on the very end and the other's like really far away.
That's right. One of them is long distance slurper. Like you're just like stay away.
Do you think that's why?
No.
Oh.
I don't think, see, when you tour a place like that, someone inevitably asks, you know, and first of all, they're like, no, they only eat in here for like a banquet. You know, they don't usually eat in here.
For like regular breakfast.
A small table somewhere in the house where they eat. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just TV.
Okay.
Yeah. Queen Elizabeth had like her own little apartment in Windsor that she lived in that was supposedly like a little like sort of cozy, cluttered granny apartment.
Like a cottage.
That she would putter around in, and was just like had a TV and a toaster and like whatever, you know, it was just like a little much smaller place. And we always envisioned her like doing palace life, but it was just like an apartment.
I had no idea. Okay. Should we open day 5?
Yeah. Where'd I put it? Here it is.
You go ahead. I just started a new row. So I will get my row established. I'll get my row established while you open 5.
Okay. So mine is going to be another Uradale yarn.
Yeah.
More Foley work. Oh, okay. Here. So this one is the Speedwell. So yesterday we talked about how they dye on different colored bases. So this is today's is Speedwell, and this is the Speedwell Heath from yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
The difference
that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome. Yep.
That's cool. Okay.
And there we go.
Okay, so like I mentioned, day 5 for me. We are now in Chicago on our road trip.
Yeah.
And
where are we going? Oh, okay. We were in Detroit yesterday, right? So we've gone over to Chicago. Okay.
Yeah, now we're in Chicago. This is day 5 from KraeO Yarns. I'll put their links to their social media down below.
That's the Chicago blobby thing. Have all of these been referencing where they are?
Yes.
I totally missed that.
Hello. Yeah, because yesterday was the car.
Detroit was a car.
Detroit.
What was Rhode Island in New York?
New York was the skyline.
Okay. What was Rhode Island?
And
then I'm forgetting one. Oh, Cincinnati.
Cincinnati was sheep. This was New York. The apple, which sort of looked like a tomato, but it's an apple. I mean, maybe it's the pizza, New York pizza with the tomato. I don't know. It looks like an apple.
I think it's a big apple, probably.
Yeah. I don't think I still have number 1. But yes, all the stickers are different.
Well, I knew they were different. I didn't realize that they were referencing the place that the yarn was from.
Yeah.
That's
Woohoo!
cool. That's very cool.
Okay. Chicago. Ooh. Look
Oh,
at that.
Little Sister, is that what it's called?
Yeah, it says Little Sister. That is one of her yarns. This is 100% superwash merino, 20
Okay.
grams, 87 yards. It looks like a single, and it's
What's the
very
color name?
Chicago.
Oh,
Anne's having geographic issues today.
having problems.
That's
Don't
okay.
mind me, guys.
Don't mind me. Okay. All right. So this is how this is all going to go once I get caught up with my knitting. See? Yeah.
Nice. That is a really nice fade. I like that.
It's going to be good. I have a lot to do.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
for sure.
Okay.
Okay. Happy Monday, everybody.
Oh, yeah, it will be.
Yep.
Huh. Okay. Speaking of food and Mondays and breakfast and bribery,
We're going to tie it all together
well,
before
we
we
are.
go, everybody.
We call it Pancake Monday because when, we both schooled our kids at home, and Pancake Monday is a thing because Mondays are hard. And so
Yeah.
we make pancakes on Monday morning. Like it
Nice.
just get them down the stairs a little sooner. Pancake.
That's a good plan. That's a solid plan.
Yeah. Either that or French toast. Usually
Yeah. Pancakes are better.
blueberry.
Mm. Well, now I'm hungry. Thanks for that.
Okay. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Stay tuned for the interview with Kristen. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, I am here today with Kristen Oldacht from KraeO Yarns, based in Chicago. It's so good to have you back. We did an interview a while ago, but it's been a long time. It's been at least a year.
In a year, yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's so good to have you back on the channel. You're so much fun.
Thanks. So are you.
So people are going to ask about the name of your company, KraeO, Krae, capital O.
Yep, correct.
So
Correct.
clearly it has something to do with your name.
It does. Yeah, it's a play on my name. I came up with it like when I first started in the industry. God, it's going to be like 11 or 12 years ago at this point. And I was starting an Etsy shop back when Etsy was like
The thing.
yeah, it was amazing. And I had to come up with a name like super fast. And I came up with KraeO. It was the way I said it in my head was KraeO because my name is Kristin Ray Oldack.
Oh, okay.
And, yeah. And then it just from there, nobody could ever say it, right? It would just became KraeO. It was so much easier to just say it that way.
Sense.
Yeah. I've always regretted it. I'm starting to come around and like it, but for years I was like, this was the worst decision. I should have taken time with it and come up with a better name. But it is what
I
it is.
remember when I first saw it, like I didn't clue in that it was something to do with your name because of the initials and the capital O. I was slow on the uptake, which often happens. I thought it had something to do with like the Kraken.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'll go with that. I like it.
I don't know why I thought that or why that occurred to me, but I mean, I was wrong, obviously, but
I hope that happens for other people.
that they're confused like me.
It's the best.
So you kind of alluded to starting off in the industry over a decade ago. So was that when you first started dyeing yarn?
No, I didn't start dyeing yarn probably about 4 years ago now. But when I first started, I was making like winter accessories, like big chunky knits and selling them to stores around Chicago and selling them on Etsy. And I did that for years.
Is that the hard way to go? Because you never are paid what the item's actually worth.
No, I got so burnt out probably after about 6 years of, churning out like 5,000 hats a year, I was just like, I don't know how much longer I could do this. And,
you're like the factory knitter.
Yes. Oh, it was so much. It was so much. I watched so much TV. Oh, knitting in front of the television all day long, which was great. Don't get me wrong.
But it's a lot. Yeah.
It is a lot. It was. And you have to bring it everywhere you go. You know, I would go home to visit my mother on the holidays. You know, I would bring like an entire suitcase of yarn with me so that I could work while I was there. It
Yeah.
was just a lot. And so I started dyeing yarn, just like for funsies, you know, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
It totally just like scratched an itch that I had that was not being scratched by, you know, making the same hat over and over and over again,
Sure.
you know. So I just kind of stuck with it. I was like, you know, I'm gonna try and sell this and see if I can shift my business model.
Uh-huh.
It worked. It was
So did
great.
you, so often, you know, when I interview dyers, they talk about, oh, they started with Kool-Aid, or they started with, you know, the Learn to Dye kit from Knit Picks or whatever it is,
Right.
or if they're fortunate enough to have someone show them, like another dyer that showed them.
Yep.
So
Yep.
did you start with the like kit from Knit Picks, or?
Nope, I went like whole hog into like buying the fancy, you know, powder dye and all of the bells and whistles that come with it. And I can't remember the name of the company that I got the yarn from. But I found a bunch of like all like the wool to dye for and the Ashland bays and all them, and I like sent them emails to see if I could just buy some samples, you know, and had it all kind of sent to my house. And you know, I had dyed fabric before, so I had a
Okay.
little bit of background with it, and I'm a painter by trade.
Okay.
Um, so I'm pretty used to like getting my hands dirty, but yeah, no, I went like right into it.
Wow.
It was a huge learning curve, huge. I
So
messed up a
so tell me about the Fuzz family.
So the Fuzz family was this is so funny when right I it was kind of right I there was some overlap between my knitting, my making, and the dyeing.
Sure.
I couldn't let go of the making because it was kind of, you know, it was supporting me and my family. And so I had to like keep doing that for about a year into my dyeing.
Okay.
Uh, and so I wanted to separate the two, and my husband came up with the name Fuzz Family for the yarn. And I was like, okay, that's great. So I'm like operating Fuzz Family and also operating KraeO. And like I was going to put KraeO to bed and just stick with Fuzz Family as the yarn, but like I couldn't leave KraeO behind. Like I couldn't do it. There's something in my heart, like I had to keep it.
Well,
You know,
yeah.
and I'd had like 6 or 7 years of success under KraeO.
Right.
And it was, you know, that I can start a whole new brand identity all over again.
That's
You know, it
hard.
was
Yeah.
it is really hard. So I'm like, screw it. I'll just keep them both.
Why not?
And yeah, so we just kind of made like Fuzz Family under the umbrella of KraeO.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
So you live in the city, like
I do.
in the
Yeah,
city. So
yeah.
where do you look primarily for color inspiration?
I would say I have a lot. I buy these little design books. I can't remember the name of them, but I don't know if you remember, like, if you ever got the little art books that was like a Cliff's Notes of like all the famous like old art pieces, like the Michelangelo or like Modigliani, like all these different every page had a different famous painting on it.
Right.
Like coffee table books, but they're like this big.
Okay.
And they have design books, like color design books that are the same, and they have a ton of them. And so you just flip through them, and each page has like, you know, 10 different color swatches on it. And then
Okay.
as you get further along in the book, it kind of puts colors together. Like, and I look at those all the time. And just because I love color swatches for some reason. And so I look at those all the time, and then I also make my own swatches with like watercolor.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and that I kind of just try to put like disparate colors together, you know, colors that you wouldn't think go together, put them together. And I think that's where I get a lot of my inspiration from.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Cool.
I also like to Google a color, which is hilarious. Like I
Well,
just did
it's
it the other day.
interesting when you do that. It's
Yeah.
interesting, especially colors that have odd names.
Oh, exactly. Exactly. I just did it 2 days ago for chartreuse.
Right.
Chartreuse is one of my favorite colors ever. And I just Googled it, and then you click on images and it has it in so many different contexts and with so many other colors. And you're like, oh, this is where it's at.
It's
I love it.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another one, there's chartreuse that is, somehow I can't picture. Is that the one that's greenish?
Yeah.
Limey,
It's like
limey
greenish
yellow.
Yep.
Greenish yellow.
Yep.
What is puce? What is puce? Besides a horrible sounding word.
I imagine it, and I might be confusing it with pewter, but I imagine it to be like some bland gray.
Oh no.
What is puce? Why haven't I ever heard of this color?
What? Okay, I'm going to show you on my phone and you're going to go, what?
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Okay. It's, oh yeah. That is what I thought it was. Okay, hold on.
Suspense is killing me. Oh, I love it. P-U-C-E. I have never even heard of this color.
Okay, Google, like, yeah.
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not like often that I know something that an independent that someone else doesn't.
I'm telling you,
it's
I
not
love
often
it.
that happens. So thank you for that.
I can't believe puce. It's kind of like a reddish, like taupey,
dark
taupey
reddish,
brown.
pinky brown.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Wikipedia says it's a brownish purple.
So my favorite color in the whole world is mauve, and so this hits all of
the mauve buttons for you.
Okay. I feel like this is my long lost love, puce,
with a horrible name.
I know it's terrible. This is so great. All right.
But in my mind, I get puce and chartreuse mixed up just because of the way they sound.
Yep. I can see that happening. Sure.
Okay. So one thing that we're asking everybody that we interview is because like knitters, I spend a lot of time, well, depending on what I'm making, but right now my jam is just round and round and round socks because it's soothing. And because if I'm doing other things that's stressful, I want to be able to just watch a show, movie knitting, round and round and round. I don't want to think that hard about it. And it's more of a meditative thing than something complicated. So we're kind of asking everybody, like, do you have any audiobooks, podcasts, or Netflix that you've been into that you've thought was, well, this is the best thing ever, you know?
Oh yeah. It is my favorite pastime is to sit in front of the TV and knit, and I do it a lot.
Oh, good. You have things to tell us about. I'm ready. Writing it down.
I mean, hopefully, unless you already know, but I will say, so the third season of Dead to Me just came out on Netflix, which is like one of the funniest shows I've ever seen with Christina Applegate. And I just went through the whole series up to now of The Witcher, which is like, oh my God, it's so good. It's like kind of fantasy sci-fi, which I was never into until kind of I hit my like late 30s, early 40s. I got super into like Lord of the Rings and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So The Witcher is amazing. Also, the lead character is incredibly easy on the eyes.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody in that show is easy on the eyes. I don't mind telling you. So it's an easy watch.
Okay.
And what else do I watch? I listen to a ton of podcasts. I'm super into this podcast called Something Was Wrong, which is very like, it's the host interviews different people who like give these accounts or these stories of experiences they have had with people who are maybe like narcissists or, you know, people who really seriously wronged them in really intense ways.
So is this like relationship red flag kind of stuff?
Yes, 100%. In like all kinds of relationships, whether it's like friendships, romantic relationships, all kind of stuff.
Interesting.
It's awesome. It's so good. So I'm obsessed with that podcast. And then I also have this really sick thing for listening to murder trials. Like right now, I know this is gonna make me sound so weird, but I don't care. Right now I'm listening to the Casey Anthony trial. because
Oh,
Casey Anthony is about to come out with like this like docu-series at the end of the month.
okay.
And that girl has been, out of the spotlight for years now. And so I just remember I never really knew too much about the case. I mean, I knew the ins and outs of it, but yeah, so I went back and started listening to that trial. I love listening to lawyers talk. It's weird.
I like legal dramas. I mean, of course, I watch I watch some of those on Netflix, like the docu-series of various crime things or whatever.
Totally. Yep.
And because I'm into like camping and backpacking, it freaks me out a little bit. Like when I watch I don't know why I do this. When I watch the ones that are like, somebody got murdered in national park, wherever. But I'll tell you what,
about it.
What's that?
There's a whole podcast about murders in national parks.
I know, but you know what? The ones that I've listened to, at least statistically, it's always people that they know. It's not like like random stranger danger.
You know who you're camping with.
Well, that kind of good point. But
trust that person is what I'm getting at.
But okay. that also is maybe one in the column for going alone or taking just you and your dog.
For sure.
I know, and people say to me, well, aren't you scared when you go backpacking? I'm like, no.
Oh.
I'm safer in the middle of nowhere by myself than you are going to the grocery store in Chicago.
100%. I make my mother text me when she gets to the grocery store because
when she gets home.
It's so bad. I know.
Right. So am I worried about camping? No. Well, maybe in a campground. I'm more worried in a campground than I am like on the ground 15 miles down a trail. Yeah.
Yeah. You have to be careful of the other people,
Right.
I mean, you're fine out there.
I know, but everybody else is like, well, what about the bears? And I'm like, well, as long as you are careful and keep it clean, put your food away and all that, they don't care.
Bears don't want anything to do with you. They're all right. They're all right. But just make yourself big. They say make yourself big.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, where was I going with that?
What was the point of that? We were talking about
podcasts.
The courtroom dramas.
Right. And the one I was listening to is like this, this man is offing his third or fourth wife in, a big ruse of we're going hiking, and then he like pushes her off a cliff or something. You know what I'm saying?
I think I know exactly the story you're talking about. Yeah, it's a thing that happens. It's pretty nuts. Yep.
But I think trials or actual courtroom, I think it's interesting. It's interesting how this system, it's interesting.
It really, the more I listen to it, the more I love it, because the whole thing seems like such a game, right? Like you can only talk about certain things, and then you can only bring, the defense can only bring up other things if the prosecution has brought it up, and all of these objections to
you got to know the rules of the game.
You have to just know, if you know the rules, you're going to play the game well. And it almost seems arbitrary in a way, so I get such a kick out of it, even though I know people's lives are on the line. But, the whole process is just, it's fascinating to me.
That's why jury duty is fascinating.
Yeah. I've never been called for jury duty. And I'm like one of the only people on the planet who would enjoy going. Oh, man, I really want to go to jury duty.
I served on a jury once, but it wasn't a criminal case. It was still fascinating because it was a civil case, and it was a lot of money. I mean, there was a lot of money in contention, and so it was important, and the process was still interesting. But I was still thankful it wasn't like a horrible, criminal trial. Yeah.
It's
but it was fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so too. And then how much money you have to award these people. And the whole thing is really interesting.
Yeah, it was just how it all worked and everything. Yeah.
Yep.
So tell me what you have coming up, or, well, maybe you can't tell me. There's a lot of people we've talked to. They're like, oh, well, I can't talk about that. Oh, I have this coming up, but it's a secret. I'm like,
oh, I got no secrets. I'm an open book.
So do you have things coming up for KraeO in the new year that you can tell us about?
Well, I will say before the new year, I'm going to try and start doing this every year around Thanksgiving time. I'm doing a huge like oops skein sale. So like I collect all of my kind of one-offs or experiments that didn't work well, and maybe colors that were dyed that didn't come out the way I wanted them to, or where the dye broke and there's maybe like one or two spots on the skein that aren't perfect.
So like factory seconds.
Exactly. That's exactly what it's like. So I'm going to do a huge sale for Black Friday, and then I'm going to leave it up until it's gone.
So this will air on December 5th. So maybe there'll be some left. Maybe there won't.
Oh, there probably will. I'm sure there's so many, you guys. I'm sure there will be left. Go check it out.
We'll put the link. We'll put the link for that down below.
Awesome. I'll send it to you. That'll be great. And then I'll be at Vogue in February. So I'm probably going to be spending most of January prepping for Vogue.
So is that in New York?
That's in New York. Yeah, Vogue Knitting Live in New York.
Oh, okay.
At the Marriott Marquis. This is going to be the first one since before COVID, since like 2019, 2018.
Have you been to that before?
I've vended there on 2 different occasions. The 2 years prior to COVID I had done. And then this is the first one back.
Wow. Okay. So you'll be getting ready for that. People could find you there.
Yeah. People can find me there. And I think that's all the hubbub about me. I'm really just I don't do a lot of like drops or, all of my yarn is dyed to order.
Okay.
So I'm like usually like 4 to 7 days to get yarn out the door, but I don't like to, I will sometimes come up with a collection and kind of drop it seasonally. But I don't do it often. I kind of like to, I'm like slow and steady, I'm a slow and steady kind of girl.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's like me hiking. I mean, I'll get there eventually. It'll take me a while. Wait for me at the top. See you there.
Oh, yep, I'll be there. I'm getting there. I promise.
One foot in front of the other.
I love it. That's
cool.
So great.
It's delightful to have you on the podcast again.
Thank you so much. It's so delightful to be talking to you.
Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.